Yes, so what's up, YouTube? Rod D, Orange Ninja News. All right, back at it again. I'm up here, my friend. Yeah. So I was just chilling, looking at a couple of news articles, figuring out what I want to talk about. And a refrigerated truck just happened to pull next to me. Damn, man, I hate those noisy refrigerated trucks, man. There's plenty of noise, I tell you. Get on your nerves with that right there. But yeah, got a good show for you today. It's gonna be rocking and rolling. A lot of different topics and stuff. I'm pretty sure you'll dig it. You'll like it. So I'm also talk about I want to pay tribute to the Rock's father. I said I was going to do that before, and I didn't get around to it yet. But got a little time on my hands now, so I can get down with it now. Now, you know, we'll do that one today also. So, yeah, without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and get into it. And, I noticed I put a picture of a mommy on this one. And the reason I got a picture of a mommy is from a recent news story. They had pulled up some mummies, and let's see, they say they got 30 wooden coffins found in Egypt, of course, because they always digging under the pyramids. You got secret chambers under there, and you have to, they dug pretty deep, just like an ant's nest. They have tunnels that just keep going down and stuff like that. So, they did that. The Egyptians did that to keep out the thieves and whatnot, so their stuff wouldn't get stolen. And even after death, but at least it stay thousands of years, and these are like 3,000 years old, so it's pretty good anti-theft prevention. I'd say that it's pretty cool. And on this little news story says 30 wooden coffins of men, women, and children thought to belong to the families of high priests have been found in Luxor, Egypt. The well-preserved burials are around 3,000 years old and will be shown in the Grand Egyptian Museum. So it's pretty cool to be inside of an Egyptian museum. Nothing wrong with that, Egypt doing its own thing and having its history preserved right there. Well, my thing is whenever they put them inside those, they would preserve the mummies and they put them inside the coffins that look. They wasn't regular coffins. The coffins look more like statues, and they'd be more like a statue of the person itself. They'll be represented on the coffin picture. So when you look at it, and then you notice that the man's got his beard faded out, just like we do with the normal day uh, shaving of today. Everybody be fading their beard or having their beard trimmed up and stuff like that. It's the same thing. It's like the Bible says, it's nothing new under the sun. And that just goes to show. It's like back then they had chariots, so they'll fix up the wheels on the chariots real nice. So you can have sitting on that silver or sitting on gold rims on your chariot. And now guys riding around in they in they cars with their rims, chrome rims, sitting on 22s, sitting on 24s. No, gold rims. It's like The Chariot had its gold rims. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing new under the sun. And you look at the, and if you're looking at the picture, you're just listening to the podcast, so you can't see it. So I describe it to you. But if you're looking at the video and looking at the picture, you see that the beard is faded out, just like how you do with the modern day electric shaver. You fade out your beard or whatever. I mean, that joint right there is crazy, man. I'm like, wow. Ain't nothing new under the sun, man. The modern style is just the old style. Mm-mm-mm. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna get to the rock spot later on in the show. I was gonna do some other news stories first. That way I can take a little long on his. You know, say the best for last, or close to the last. You know what I'm saying? Pretty cool. All right. Without further ado, we're gonna go into the next story. Cause I had some time tonight. Finished working, doing my thing. I usually tell you how my day was. I don't even feel like telling you how my day was today. Man, I hate when they have problems with the truck. Man, I ain't even gonna go into it. I ain't whining about my day. I ain't whining about my damn day today, man. We about to go into these news stories. We'll say that for tomorrow, another day. All right. Well, the news story you might have heard about Eminem, or you might not have, but he had his new album had some controversy and some of the lyrics he says, which nothing new. His 11th album, 11th time having some kind of controversy or something. You know, it's called free publicity. If you can get the news organizations to talk about you for free, don't have to spend a dime, bam, good for you. Free publicity. All right, let's see here. Let's get into the story. Yeah, trying to the front of the story. Okay, bear with me for 1 second because I had it here. Uh, well, Eminem crossed the line, says Courtner singer, and he crossed the line. We'll get into that in a minute. The rapper was criticized for the track on unaccommodating, which references the Manchester bomb attack that killed 22 people at an Ariana Grande concert. And if you don't remember that, that happened a little while back. It was really big on the news and stuff. Like they say, 22 people got killed. So yeah, that was pretty big. Eminem said some lyrics on the album were designed to shock the conscience, which may cause positive action. He added the album is not intended for people who are easily offended or unnerved. Mm, but yeah, he usually say something like that, not for the easily offended. Yeah, that part's not new. Eminem has responded to the recent criticism of his lyrics, saying his new album was not made for the squeamish. On the opening song on the album, Eminem raps, I'm contemplating yelling bombs away on the game like I'm outside of a Ariana Grande concert waiting. And then after that verse is followed by a sound of an explosion. So, that right there, that part is, you really can't, I can't defend that part. I like Eminem. He's a good guy, real good for the culture, but yeah, that part right there, In a statement posted on Twitter, the hip hop star suggested the offending lyrics had been taken out of context, were not intended to be taken literally, and fitted a broader, violent theme across the LP. And in the statement posted on Twitter, the hip hop star suggested, yeah, I already said that. Okay, next it says, in today's wonderful world, murder has become so commonplace that we, our society, obsessed and fascinated by it. I thought, why not make a sport of it? And murder over beats. So before you jump the gun, please allow me to explain. Now this right here, this is the Eminem response to the whole controversy about his lyrics and everything. This album was not made for the squeamish. If you are easily offended or unnerved at the screams of bloody murder, this may not be the collection for you. Which, yeah, I'm not into the screams of bloody murder. So this right here is, I'm not the target of what is. It's not, this right here is not the collection for me. I mean, what is this, like rap meets, mm, I don't know what to say. Certain selections have been designed to shock the conscience, which may cause positive action. Unfortunately, darkness has truly fallen upon us. So you see, murder in this instance isn't always literal, nor pleasant. These bars are only meant for the sharpest knives in the drawer. For the victims of this album, may you rest peacefully. For the rest of you, please listen more closely next time. Good night. With deepest sympathy, Eminem. Yeah, pretty nice, Em. Pretty nice weirdo type stuff. But yeah, I don't think I'll be getting this one. I'm not targeted audience. Yo, Em, you're a good dude. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm still rocking your old school joints. I like your old school joints, my man. Now check this out. Music to be murdered by. Now that's the name of the album. This is 11th album now. And the name of it is Music to be Murdered by. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine that, man? You got your little headset on, you listen to something. Somebody asks you, hey, man, what you listening to, bro? Oh, yeah, man, I'm just listening to music to be murdered by. Like, what? Like, are you just sitting around waiting for a drive-by? So you listen to music to be murdered by while waiting on a drive-by. Nah, I don't know. It's some weird stuff. I don't want to be murdered, so I usually don't listen to music to be murdered by. That's for a different area. Probably like uh, I don't know. I couldn't. Detroit is kind of rough, but music to be murdered by? That's what they listen to? I don't know, man. So yeah, so yeah, that's just. And then you have this other musician that says he crossed the line, and uh, let's see, Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham said the lyrics were unnecessarily hurtful. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, he probably missed the mark on that one. I usually like his work though. You know what I'm saying? I'm still rocking his old school though, man. So I don't know. I'm not with the music to be murdered by. Once the murdering over, tell me how it went. Next story. Let's go on to Juice World. Yeah, I wish this was a happier story. Of course, Juice World has passed. So yeah, I talked about the guy that was flying the jet plane. I talked about him earlier. Um, it's called the private jet for a reason. Dude only had one job, which was to fly the jet. not to be secret snitch, undercover snitch, or whatever he was doing. But, you know, and when I say that, I'm not saying no snitching. Of course, I'm not saying that people should break the law and the police shouldn't be called. No, I'm not saying this. But I'm saying it's a way to handle everything. And in this instance, if it was handled correctly, the young man would still be alive today. He would go to rehab, get his life together, most likely. I mean, he had his whole life ahead of him. He was still a youngster. That's crazy. I mean, obviously it wasn't handled correct. When somebody dies, yeah, I would say that junk wasn't handled correctly. Usually, when something's handled correctly, it doesn't end in, oh yeah, this guy died. By the way, you know what I'm saying? That's not handled correctly. So, so what I'm saying, they do have one job, fly the jet. Now, okay, well, the reason this story comes up is because they just got the coroner's report in, all that good stuff, and everything's all official right now. And they said that he died of an overdose, which we already knew that, so there's nothing new there. But but just in the case of little extra new stuff that we probably didn't know about, we'll look through the story and see what's all. I'm not going to read the whole entire news story because, of course, we already know what was up with the whole thing, and we already did a whole show on that. You can just backtrack and look at some of my back videos and just pull up the one I did on that if you want to know more about it. So I ain't going to read the whole story, but I'll look through it and see if there's any pieces that maybe that we didn't know before that they just finding out and that's coming to light or whatever. So I'll check it out. Juice World suffered a seizure during a police search of his private jet. I said again, the word private is in there. Private jet. When it landed in Chicago airport, later died in the hospital. Okay, so this what happened. Of course, the pilot snitched him out. So as soon as they landed in Chicago, the police was already there waiting on them, and the rest you already know. So the way I would have did if I was a pilot, I mean, I know the pilot might say, "Oh, I was fearful for my life," or this or that. Which really, if you flying a jet plane up in the sky, I mean, how fearful could you be? If it wrecked, everybody would die, right? I mean, anyway. But if I was a pilot, I would have just been like, "Yo, since the pilot's a grown man, I'd be like, hey, yo, listen, that right there, I seen some of that y'all brought on here, man. I ain't comfortable with having that on here." And you come at it like that. Now, if they snapped at you and jumped with left or whatever the crap, you just don't go behind their back. That way, everything could have been, he could have been, you don't know which way it could have been. He could have been like, hey, man, my bad, or blah, 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 however. He could have worked from there. Don't just call the people. The first thing, you don't say nothing to nobody, don't give no indication, just smile in their face like everything's cool, go behind their back and calling people. Come on, man. God. All right. I'm going to get off of that. I already talked about that before. I'm going to get off that part. So, anyway, say officers said at the time they found guns and drugs on this jet after receiving information from that snitch pilot. Yeah, we already know that part. Um, These drugs are used to treat severe pain and contain opioids. I be saying that word kind of weird. Opioids. Opioids. But it's opioids. Opioids. Yeah, I'm gonna just get out that word. I know opioids. I know how I want to say the word, but I just say opioids. Whatever. Opioids. They've been linked to an opioid crisis in the U.S. Juice WRLD suffered a seizure during a police search of his private jet when it landed in Chicago airport. And later he died at the hospital. Okay. We already know this right here. Okay. Now here's something I didn't know. The rapper whose real name is Gerard A. Higgins, which say, that's a cool name. That's a fellow Rod A, and I'm Rod D. What? That's what I like to do. I didn't know his name was. I didn't know he was a fellow Rod. What the hell? Okay, so the rapper whose real name is Gerard A. Higgins died in December 2019 at the age of 21 after having a seizure. That's what I'm saying. 21. That's young, man. That's young to be up out of here, man. That junk could be handled differently. Cause at that age, man, you still figuring everything out. You just trying to get there mentally, and a few years from there, say he done went to rehab, done cleaned up, got his junk together, man. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Well, if he at least had the damn chance, if you give him the chance and they mess up, okay. But damn, at least give the man the chance. Oh crap. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Higgins died as a result of oxycontin and codeine toxicity, and the manner of death is accident. So yeah, basically we already know that part about the. Let me see if there's anything. Nah, because other than that, they go into talking about pills and overdosing and different type of pills like Xanax, fentanyl, etc., etc. And talk about other artists that overdosed, which we already know. So yeah, so that's about it. That's about it for that story. And like I said, that was kind of rough because dude, he was in his prime. You know what I'm saying? And he probably would have did big things. He still had his whole career ahead of him and everything. All right, so I'm gonna pay tribute to Rocky Johnson, which is the Rock's pops. And on this story, man, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know. Like, I didn't know where he's originally from because I thought he was just an American wrestler that was from Hawaii. But nah, so let's get into the story. Rocky Johnson, born Wade Douglas Bowles, August 24th, 1944, was a Canadian professional wrestler. See that word right there, Canadian. Yeah, I didn't know he was a Canadian. That's wow, man. Now we all know another famous Canadian, man. Yeah, I'm thinking about Drake. Yeah, I know. As soon as I say Canadian, everybody be like, "Yeah, yeah, Drake." That's the other famous light skinned Canadian. We down here in America, macking our chicks, man. What? Nah, Canada be doing it big though, man. All right, so was a Canadian professional wrestler among many National Wrestling Alliance titles. He was the first black Georgia. Let's see. First black Georgia. Uh, yeah, he was the first black Georgia heavyweight champion. He won a World Tag Team Championship along with his partner Tony Atlas in '83 to become the first black champions in WWE history. And he also was the father. He was the father of actor and former WWE wrestler The Rock. Yeah. Yeah, I know that The Rock went on to go to the movies and everything else, and he also played professional football and all that good stuff also. So that's pretty good. And yeah, yeah. Forgot to put up my groceries when I went shopping. Oh well. I hit that next. All right. Now, Rocky Johnson was born Wade Douglas Boyles in Amherst, Nova Scotia. Now I know Nova Scotia sounds somewhere far off, but that's Canada, where he was raised the fourth of five sons of Lillian and James Henry Bowles, a black Nova Scotian. He was descended from black loyalists who immigrated to Nova Scotia after escaping from a southern plantation in the U.S. after the American Revolutionary War. At the age of 16, Johnson moved to Toronto, where he began wrestling and worked as a truck driver, which is pretty cool. Y'all know truck drivers are some tough, hard-working dudes. You're listening to one right now. You know what I'm saying? And dude had something in common. He worked as a truck driver before he got his wrestle game up. All right, that's what's up. Initially, he trained to be a boxer and eventually sparred with greats such as Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Um, both of George Foreman and Muhammad Ali were greats. So, but he was also fascinated by wrestling. In '82, Johnson feuded with Don Maruco, Greg Valentine, Mike Sharp, Buddy Rose, and Adrian Adonis. He was then paired with Tony Atlas as his tag team partner. They defeated the Wild Samoans. Eh, let me see. I was trying to see other stuff that we didn't know about. Just bear with me for a hot second. Uh-huh. And let's see, because I had left off on one part of this thing. Johnson began his career as a professional wrestler in '64 in southern Ontario, Canada. Soon after his debut, he legally changed his name to Rocky Johnson moniker. He chose the name Rocky Johnson as a tribute to two of his favorite boxing greats, and that would be Rocky Marciano and Jack Johnson, which those were definitely two great boxers. And Jack Johnson, they had a Jack Johnson story called "Unforgettable Blackness." It was a pretty good story about the man's life. You get a chance, check it out. It's a real good movie about his true life. The latter being the first black heavyweight boxing champion. Yeah, because Jack Johnson was the first heavyweight black boxer. Now, back to Rocky Johnson. He was a top contender in the National Wrestling Alliance in the '70s, receiving title matches against the world champions Terry Funk and Harley Race. Oh, pretty cool. Okay. Uh, Johnson wrestled off and on in the Memphis promotion, often feuding with Jerry Lawler, winning Lawler's crown at one point. He also wrestled under a mask as Sweet Ebony Diamond in the Mid-Atlantic area. So he kind of, you bounced around the circuit a little bit too. Like they said, he was wrestling in Memphis, and then over in the Mid-Atlantic area, he'll wear a mask and went by Sweet Ebony Diamond. That's a crazy name, though, Sweet Ebony Diamond. That's weird. Yeah. That dude was putting it in, man, putting in work. Okay. And so it was after retiring in '91, Johnson along with Pat Patterson trained his son, Dwayne, to wrestle while he initially resisted his son's entry into what he knew to be an extremely difficult business. Johnson agreed to train him on the condition that he wouldn't go easy on him. Johnson was instrumental in getting Dwayne, later dubbed Rocky Maivia, after both Rocky Johnson and Peter Maivia's ring names. And then later on, of course, The Rock had changed it just to The Rock. But when he when The Rock first came out, he also was calling himself Rocky, just like his pops, Rocky Johnson. And then he just changed it to The Rock later on, and the rest is history. After that, in early 2003, Johnson was hired as a trainer for the WWE developmental territory, Ohio Valley Wrestling. And yeah, that's about it. And of course, when he was doing the tag team wrestling, it was called the Soul Patrol. They just put a pretty cool name, the Soul Patrol, man. Yeah, that's funny. It's the Soul Patrol. Yeah, them boys was bad back in the day, man. It was big time with it. And it said, Johnson recounts in his autobiography, Soul Man, that he met his first wife, Una Sparks, at a dance. And that autobiography, Soul Man, I'm gonna check that out, man. I think that's going to be a really good autobiography. And yeah, if you want to check out a new autobiography, check out Soul Man by Rocky Johnson. I didn't know about it, so I just found out about it myself. So yeah, I'm gonna go find that one. I think that's gonna be pretty deep. And that was a tribute to the Rock's pops, Rocky Johnson. He did a real good job. He had his you know, helped his son with weightlifting, and his son later on went to playing football, and then later on he helped him with the wrestling, got him into the wrestling. He became one of the top wrestlers. After that, an actor. I mean, doing his thing. So, yeah, I know that ain't easy to do. So, yeah, I figured I'd play the man homage because, yeah, it's one of our big timers, man. Yeah, yeah, man. Next, I'm gonna do a little truck talk with my boy Brian Calley. So that's up next, and we'll get in some more parts to the show. All right. Let me go ahead and try to hit my homie up. Yep. Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't know you answered, man. I ain't have it on speaker yet.
Yeah, it's a little
No.
okay, I figured it out. It sounds like a little distant, yeah, but you said you're on speaker, so.
Yeah, I have back on the headset in a minute. So yeah, man. So it's time for Trucker Tales with Brian Callie.
Oh, I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah, all right, man.
It's a crazy world we work in, you know? You know, you can fly in or what you gonna do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you got the good days, you got the bad days, you got the crazy days, you know, you got them odd days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, and we gotta suffer through a lot, you know, people don't realize that, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Son of a gun. Crazy trucker tails over there, got some idiot running right in front of me, like I'm gonna make it.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. Man, and it's hot as hell today, so I was thinking about that whole global warming thing too, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then those crazy nuts, it has a lot to do with the emissions coming out of these trucks, right? And it's like, man, I don't necessarily blame it, you know, just on that, you know. You know, it has a lot to do with what we've been doing for the past, you know, several, you know, 100 years now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. Like nothing that's been just recently here.
Yeah, you know, because, you know, remember when those DEF systems came out back in the days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to cut down on emissions. Now, what are they talking about? That DEF fuel, or, you know, it causes cancer now, right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, when they say that shit, man, I missed out on that part.
I remember one of my friends telling me that, you know, that it causes cancer, and now, you know, I guess they're still using it, but they try to find a different method of, you know, doing it, I guess, or using that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 100% true, but, you know, it's just more crazy and crazy how these trucks get more, how you call it, we get more, restrictions, we get more babysitting attributes, you know? You know, like, I heard, companies like, you know, a lot of major companies, you know, we already have the on-guard system, you know? You know what I'm talking about, the on-guard, the lane departures, and, all those crazy mechanisms that are, you know, not letting us drive the trucks and use the cruise control kind of takes over for you, you know?
Yeah.
You know, the term steering wheel holder is going to become true later on in the generation of our fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for the robots take over and shit.
Well, you know, they have that whole, you know, autonomous truck driving stuff, remember? That delivered loads and stuff. But I heard they went out of business because all that equipment and stuff was way too much money to maintain, man.
Yeah, that's good for us.
Yeah, that's good for us, but that shows you that, you know, technology is not reliable, you know, long term when it's there's a lot of elements coming to it, you know? You know, I would imagine those systems they would have to drive between hot and cold, freezing and rain, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure in between those, you know, they'll keep out, you know?
Yeah.
So at least it shows that there's a long, long way before that will really happen, you know, 100%.
Yeah, definitely, man. That is crazy.
It's crazy because, you know, sooner or later, you know, with all these electric trucks, I mean, right?
Yeah, they're trying to move to that.
You know, I've already seen electric garden hose, you know, so I think I was at a customer one time, and I was seeing electric Cascadian. No lie. It had to be some sort of hybrid, you know what I mean? But they had charging stations for them and everything, so I'm like, oh wow, so it's becoming a thing, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A hybrid to pull that type of, to have the right pulling power, it has to be some kind of hybrid type of thing.
Well, I mean, electric motors, I mean, they have more torque than, you know, our regular, you know, because we use the trucks, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I've heard that they can maintain a pretty decent speed while going up the hill fully loaded. The motors are correctly, balanced to, I guess, matched.
Dang.
It's not like you're gonna have a little Prius, electric motor trying to pull 80,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, that'd be crazy. Oh, hey, it was.
That electric motors have become more better, in the past few years. That it's becoming a big thing.
Yeah, hey, and I appreciate, man. We're gonna say that for tomorrow. Truck and Sales with Brian Cali. I'm gonna go ahead and check out this gate and hit you back. All right, brother. Peace. Well, good news for everybody that got tired of the fake emotional pets being on the planes. It seems like they trying to do a crackdown on that. Now, the so-called emotional pet has to be a dog. They might have some kind of stipulation to it, but where somebody could carry something that's not a dog, but it definitely have to have proof of it. And they also said that lying on the documents, of course, is a crime. So if anybody get caught trying to pull that whole thing where they had it where they were selling stuff online, the certificates for your pets and stuff, saying it was emotional pets and all types of I don't know what kind of junk it was, but yeah, none of that fake emotional pet thing is gonna fly. People get like little fake doctor's notes and all types of weird stuff. Oh yeah, well this baby alligator is my emotional pet, or this rooster is my emotional pet, or whatever. I mean, it had got to the point where people was just trying to see what kind of weird craziness they could get away with, and what they can get away with taking aboard a plane. Which I mean is funny, and it makes real funny videos. But at the same time, it's not thinking about the public, the other passengers on the plane that got to put up with your nonsense. Is not really there to put up with your nonsense. Yo, somebody buy a plane ticket, want to go somewhere. They want to just get to their destination. They're not signing up for no extra shenanigans and no kind of foolishness. So I think it's pretty good that they started doing that crackdown of the whole emotional pets thing. And then there was also where there was a lot of talk about people trying to dodge the pet fee, because if you take a pet with you, you gotta pay the pet fee, and they got to be in the carriage, under the plane, all this other good stuff. They'll take care of him, but he's got to be in his cage or whatever. So to get around from that, they could just say, "Oh yeah, well this is my emotional pet. He needs to go on board with me." Save a few bucks. And then if it's an untrained animal, now you're harassing everybody on the damn plane because you don't even have control of it. And the stuff people was taking on there, again, like I say, that was some weird stuff. You got skunks, rats, bats, cats. I mean, you name it. People was just trying to see just how far they could go with the foolishness. So I knew that was going to come to an end sooner or later. I just didn't know. I was like, because, you could do stuff so many times before people will be like, okay, I had quite enough of this right here. We've gone overboard. Gone quite overboard too many times with this. And the whole thing with most of them was a joke, because then, they crying boo-hooing about, oh, this is my emotional pet. You can't keep me from taking my emotional pet aboard. But then later on, they come out with the little funny videos of it. So, I mean, it was a damn joke anyway, Like, it's crazy. So, for one, I'm very happy to hear about the crackdown on that crap. Now, if you have a service dog or whatever, and you got your papers for them, they're not even talking about you. You already know. You know, there's a big difference between a blind person or a handicapped person that's needing a service dog, and then somebody that just want to get away with taking an ostrich on the damn plane. There's a big damn difference. Yeah, so I was so happy to hear about that one. Hey, okay, now we're talking about something. Now we're doing something. And also, while we're speaking of planes, we might as well talk about this coronavirus. And the city in China that they found the coronavirus and had I think it was 20 people that died, and it's another 500 that's infected. So China closed off the whole city, and it's like, well, it's not like, I mean, from their numbers, they say it's 11 million people in the city, and they closed the city off. No trains, no planes, no buses, no nothing. You're not allowed in the city, and you're not allowed out of the city. Of course, you're not allowed out of the city because that's what a quarantine is. You know, that's good. That's good work. That's good that they doing that. It's just like if you ever watch the zombie movies where they quarantine the city, they just cut everything off. Bam, that's it. Nobody out the city. You had the police and the army and everybody at the gates of the city. Make sure ain't nobody trying to sneak in or sneak out. And boom, that's it. But yeah, till they get a handle on the thing, and that's the main thing, because they like, it's a really very deadly virus. And if they could keep it intact and keep it contained, and until doctors and the scientists can get a good handle on it, then boom, you know what I'm saying? But they just don't want no major outbreak of it. So, of course, if you got people just leaving out the city, hopping on planes, flying all over the world, next thing you know, it's all over the world. There's already a case in the U.S. from an American that came back, and he came back over here, and he's being treated in the hospital now. But that's right there the perfect example of what I'm talking about. If they just let everybody in and out the city, and they don't quarantine anybody, they don't lock it down. And I mean, that's not giving enough of time to even find out how to cure it. Everybody flying in, catching it, and flying out, and spreading it all over the world isn't a good thing. So yeah, I'm all for the quarantine of the city. That's pretty smart. That's a really great job there. And yeah, so once the doctors and the scientists get it figured out and it's a done deal and everything they'll be like, it's not a problem anymore. We got a for sure cure. There's no it's no more deadly than the common cold now. Then boom, yeah, green light, everything's all good. But it's like they say the people have to show like a flu-like symptom, and from there it just progresses and gets worse and worse until the person's death. That's why you see the pictures over there, everybody's wearing a mask on their face, which is a normal thing in Asian countries. If somebody has a cold or something, or if it's flu season, usually a lot of people would wear a mask anyway. So, I mean, that's just part of their custom. So, that's nothing out of ordinary. But with the coronavirus kicked up, then it's extra. They're going extra hard with the mask, which they really have to. I mean, that's nothing to play with as far as how deadly they saying it is. I mean, you can imagine 1 second thinking, okay, yeah, I'm catching a little cold. Then the next day, oh man, I got a full-blown flu. I'm messed up. I can't go nowhere today. And then the next day, family members check on you and you're gone. You done checked out. You dead. That's a messed up virus, man. I'm telling you. They say it hits your respiratory system, which means that could be spread with just somebody stepping on the plane, coughing and sneezing. Or like the dude that came back from over there on the plane. As soon as he stepped off the plane in the airport and he's coughing and sneezing and stuff like that, you know, it makes it a wrap. It makes it rough. So um, yeah, that's nothing good with it right there. And as far as as far as a cure, of course, there's not a cure for it yet. And that's basically what they're working on, trying to get that done, get a nice little cure kicked in for it. So after that, it's all good. After that, then you go ahead and lift the curfew. Everything's all good. Everything be uh, right as rain. We'll go right back to the way everything was. Man, it seems like there's something new coming out these days. Because you got the Ebola virus over on the African side, which that that's already been kicked. But still be an outbreak from it every now and then. But it ain't like when it was full blown, killing a lot of people and stuff. So yeah, that's messed up. And hopefully like I say, hopefully they have a cure for this soon. Well, all right, y'all. It's been fun. It's been nice, like a good pizza slice, man. I'm up out of here. Spend another day with it. Yeah, I gotta get back at it early in the morning. So do the day job, get back to rolling down this road. So I'm gonna have to cut it short. And I have to say thanks for listening and tuning in. And catch back up with y'all later. And hopefully everything was interesting to you. Probably even learned something new or whatever. And yeah, so thanks for hanging with me. And around this time, I have to say, y'all be easy, y'all be blessed, and peace.